From the local station, this is Weather Authority Weekday.
All right, well, good Tuesday morning, everyone. Meteorologist Chris Holtzman here. It's our Weather Authority Weekday stream. And yeah, it was another cold start this morning. Temperatures generally in the 20s and 30s across our region. But we are tracking warm up later this week. And even, believe it or not, another wintry system late this week into the upcoming weekend. Let's talk about right now, though. So we are looking live outside. And this is over Jacksonville. You can see a live look there. And we are tracking sunshine across our region. Some clouds are filtering in. We're generally partly to mostly cloudy across our area. And a temperature right now of 52 degrees there in Jacksonville. We have a northerly wind. But overall, we are looking at least a warmer start. You can see a bit of the breeze there in St. Augustine, the palm tree moving around there on the bottom left of your screen. And for the most part, again, we are looking at that sunshine. So you will likely need the jacket. It's still a bit cool out there, not as chilly as yesterday. And looking at our Julington Creek camera, well, we are tracking more of that sunshine. A temperature there, by the way, of 51 degrees. And we do have that northerly wind. A bit more cloud cover, though, over downtown Jacksonville. 52 is our temperature there. And we are keeping that northerly wind around. Even Jacksonville International, you can see we are keeping as well more clouds around with a temperature of 52. All right, so let's break down what we have. And this morning, we alerted you to that frost and freeze potential. A large part of our area was under that. Most of us were right at or just above freezing. However, into our Georgia zones and also western zones into McClenny, Lake City, right around 27 to 30. Jacksonville, the airport, dropped to around 30. So we did fall below freezing there. 29 in Waycross this morning, 34 in St. Mary's, and then at least more to the south, we are looking at those temperatures in the 30s. Now, in terms of what to expect with our clouds and radar forecast, what you see is what you get. So we have an area of high pressure moving into the southeast, some high clouds streaming in from the Gulf. The bottom line is we are tracking, once again, partly to mostly cloudy sky. Temperatures quite comfortable this afternoon. At least we're in the 50s, not in the 20s or 30s. Still a bit cool out there, but it's comfortably cool as we have that sunshine around. 52 in Jacksonville right now, 52 in Green Cove Springs. We have McClenny right around 52. 50, though, in Brunswick. Waycross, we're still in the upper 40s. And St. Augustine reporting 53 degrees. That means temperatures are running around 5 to even 10 degrees higher compared to this time yesterday. So that means temperatures are a little bit warmer out there, and we're still keeping that wind around 5 to even 15 miles per hour from the north. Wind chill, not so much of an issue across our area this morning. We had that cold weather advisory yesterday, not so much today. So temperatures, if you are heading out, we are in the 50s over the next couple of hours. Into the afternoon, we'll be in the mid to upper 50s by 3. And then as we continue later on in the evening, we are tracking temperatures right around 50. It's mostly clear. And eventually clouds will start to build overnight tonight into the day on Wednesday. But for today, temperatures, as I mentioned, we're back into the 50s and even 60s across our area. So it is at least a cooler day. Average high for this time of year is in the mid 60s. So we are below that. And Futurecast shows, again, that northerly wind direction. And then we start to see a northeasterly wind on Wednesday. Now, I do want to give you the alert Wednesday morning. Another morning with near or below freezing temperatures, especially north and west of the metro, including Lake City over to Waycross, so Pierce, Brantley, and Charlton counties, and then also into Baker County and even Columbia County, where we do have that freeze watch in effect. That will likely get upgraded to a warning by early this afternoon, as temperatures there will drop to or just below freezing. And then along and east of 95, or mainly east of the St. Johns River, temperatures will be in the upper 30s to even upper 40s, depending on where you are. Again, those ocean temperatures really keep coastal spots during the evening and night warmer. During the day, though, it does allow temperatures to be a bit cooler, which is what we're seeing there. So for the day on Wednesday, we're looking at temperatures into the 60s to low 70s. Should be a pleasant day with that sunshine, and Futurecast verifies we're keeping some clouds around. Overall, though, any rain will stay away from our area into a Wednesday evening. Now, I do want to show you our temperature forecast, because what we're looking at across the region, another shot of cold air will move in. Now, really the brutal cold is to our north. We're kind of like right at the edge of it, but by the end of the week, notice those lines moving in from the southwest. We get a more warmer flow to our area, and then even into the first part of the weekend, staying fairly warm. In fact, some of our models are really showing a very tight temperature gradient as we head into Saturday and Sunday between Georgia and Florida. And the gradient, that's the change in temperature with distance. It could be pretty strong. So we're watching exactly where that will set up. But the bottom line, at least for our high temperatures, we're looking at highs back into the 70s by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Even Saturday's number could be much warmer depending on where exactly the cold and warm line will set up. But the average high for this time of year is 65. And temperatures will be above that starting tomorrow into at least the first half of the weekend. Low temperatures, though, will be a bit chilly for tonight, where a freeze is possible. And then another at least frost possible as we head into Thursday. But that's not looking too promising right now. What we are tracking, though, and we are giving you the alert to, is the rain coverage. In fact, rain chances will go up by the end of the week into the weekend. And that's in association with a system I do want to show you. So we'll kind of take a look at some of this data. And one thing we're looking at across our region is the potential for some wintry weather. So this is a look at the European model. And I want to show you Thursday there could be a couple of stray showers. Watch by the weekend, though, and we're tracking across the south a very strong shot of cold air will move into our area. And at least mainly to the north. This could be historic cold for the southeast. Florida, not so much. But again, we're tracking this closely. But with enough cold air and moisture developing, there could be a pretty significant ice storm for portions of Texas up into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and even Georgia. Now, this is the GFS, or this is the European model, rather. And one thing I want to show you, the models are struggling to how far south this cold air will get. The European model has the freezing line right up into our viewing area, just like the event we saw last weekend with those marginal temperatures. So some of the other models keep the freezing line a little bit more to the north, but the bottom line, we can have a very strong temperature gradient between Florida and also Georgia. And let me put this into motion on Sunday, because look at all of that icing just to our north. And that is with temperatures right around freezing, if not below freezing. And what I'll do tomorrow is we'll talk about kind of the difference between freezing rain, snow, and sleet, as this could bring a mixture of everything just to our north. Again, freezing rain is where you have those temperatures below freezing, and then you have warmer temperatures. That allows rain to form, and then right at the surface, it's right at or below freezing, and that allows activity to accumulate. So that's something we're monitoring into Sunday, even Monday. Freezing rain forecast with the European. So as we head through the next couple of days, I'll move the map up a little bit more. You can see that potential icing accumulation. Pretty remarkable to see some of those numbers. In fact, this model, you have to understand with some of these models, they don't really pick up straight ice and sleet well. They kind of group it all together, but we do have the potential to see over 1/2 inch of ice, and that could potentially really cripple infrastructure depending on where that icing sets up from South Carolina over to Georgia, and then Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. Now, this is another one of our models, and you'll see kind of the difference. This is the GFS, the American model. So watch what happens as we head into Saturday. This keeps that ice line well to our north. Remember, the other model had it a little bit more to the south. This one has it more so right over Macon and Augustus. So anywhere south of that icing line, that's where we would see the warmer temperatures. North of it is where you have that wintry mess, and that continues into Sunday morning, and you'll see that icing potential. So we'll have to just watch temperatures closely, because in some of our Georgia zones, if we do see some cold air move in a bit more, that could introduce the threat perhaps for maybe freezing rain. The threat for that is low right now, but it's something, of course, we always need to monitor. And that freezing rain for the GFS will show you that. This is another one of our models. And again, some of these numbers are very unrealistic, as it's having a hard time depicting what's actually freezing rain and what isn't. But you could see that we do have the potential to see at least over 1/10 inch of ice, mainly north of Waycross. So this keeps the icing line a little bit more to the north. Regardless of what it is, it's going to be a close call for our area, but I do think we'll likely just see a chilly rain across our region. And again, that's something we'll be talking about for the rest of the week and also the weekend. So breaking down our forecast, and keep in mind, it's really funny, our weather pattern. Last Sunday, we had a very chilly rain. We had temperatures Saturday near 70. Sunday was the active day. And it's looking like we'll see a repeat this weekend. We're in the 70s, and even Saturday's number could come up more if that warmer air is moving in. Some models were actually pumping out around the upper 70s to low 80s. So something we'll be monitoring, but then by Sunday, it looks like colder air will rush back in, and even that 61 could be a bit too high with the forecast. It's all about figuring out where exactly the cold air sets up. But the bottom line, it's looking like a chilly, raw day by Sunday. And then Monday, we dry out with temperatures in the 50s. Overnight lows were in the 30s and 40s, eventually into the 50s by the end of the week. So again, nothing to get alarmed about. We're, of course, just watching our potential right now, just plain rain. But of course, we'll monitor those freezing temperatures closely, as you could see some variation as to where exactly the cold air will set up. So that's a look at our local weather. I'll be back with our national weather in just a few minutes. Well, let's continue and look at these temperatures across the country. Talk about cold. Well, look at those numbers. Single digits to teens across the northern part of the country when you factor in the wind chill. Remember, that's looking at the wind with the actual temperature. I mean, that is brutally cold. Teens, 20s, single digits below zero. You pick it out there on the map. Florida here, we're cool, but certainly not as cold as the rest of the country. Now, looking at our setup, we do have a developing system that could bring snow showers to the northern Rockies. You'll see that activity in terms of the Midwest and even into the plains and out west. Well, we are tracking also a fire potential. When you get the dry ground, that could bring a better chance of an enhanced risk for wildfires to spread. We, of course, saw that in Florida when we were so dry, but really our temperature setup, you guessed it, cooler temperatures across the eastern part of the country. An upper level trough that's going to continue to bring below average temperatures to the eastern part of the country, but high pressure will bring warmer weather to the west coast. And snow potential will be around tomorrow. In fact, you can see across the Midwest, there's some of that snow. In fact, off the Great Lakes into New York, which is famous for lake effect snow, there could be feet of snow that develop with those lake effect bands. So our rain potential tomorrow, it is to our west, and you can see light showers with a southwesterly flow. And even into the afternoon, scattered showers will increase as they move east, mainly across Mississippi, Alabama, into Tennessee and Kentucky. That activity will stay away from us at least tomorrow, but by Thursday, you'll see the potential for some showers moving into Florida as we head into the day on Thursday, but not a washout by any means. That rain coverage is fairly low. Now, heat potential is possible. The greatest chance for above normal temperatures generally to our west, but then as we head later on in the week, we'll see a better coverage of at least some warmer temperatures east. By the way, we were talking about snow, and up in Connecticut, they certainly had plenty of snow. In fact, this is in my stomping ground. So I grew up in Connecticut, and this is in Montville, Connecticut, which is the southeastern part of the state close to the Long Island Sounds. Let's take a look and look at the snow on the golf course. Certainly looking different than Florida.
You ready?
For 11-year-old Kayani Maldonado,
Woo!
there's strategy in sledding.
Both techniques are kind of like different in their own way, but I feel like going down like head first is like where it's at.
The sixth grader spent his snow day like any kid should.
I hope I don't fall.
And then huffing it up the hill. Of course, you want to stay safe and bundled up on a day like this.
It's cold, but when I have the jacket on, I'm hot. It's like it mixed between cold and warm, but it's mostly cold. Jacket, hat, gloves, sweater.
Some sledders traded for snowmen, maybe a fort. But the tubes and sleds won the popular vote with four-legged help and a need for speed.
When it's like smooth, like in these areas, like it tends to go faster.
Well, that looks cold, doesn't it? Yeah, folks up north enjoying the snow and certainly have a lot of fun, although when the snow stays on the ground a long time, certainly you can sled for multiple days. All right, well, let's look at the country once again and what we're tracking. Again, those warmer temperatures to our west. But for the most part, we'll be looking at a better chance of warmer weather to our east as we head over the next couple of days. So there's that quick snow-making system off to the north. Rain and snow will be across the eastern United States as the system moves. And then by Thursday, a system exits the eastern half of the United States. And watch the Gulf Coast, because we are tracking another chance for some rain and eventually some snow across the area. By the way, you might have heard as well, there's a geomagnetic storm ongoing. So we had a solar flare from the sun that was so strong. And look at how remarkable that is. Now, we do have the potential to see the aurora across about half the country, all the way to the Alabama border. It looks like it's not strong enough to go into Florida, but again, pretty remarkable. You can see scenes like that. And that's the particles interacting with the atmosphere, creating those vibrant patterns. Just a really gorgeous scene. If you've ever seen it in person, it's very hard to do down here. The more north you are in latitude, the better chance you have of seeing the aurora. So pretty remarkable stuff there. And we'll be watching for perhaps at least the potential maybe for a geomagnetic storm to linger into tomorrow. It's looking like, though, it'll be partly cloudy over our area, and to the naked eye, we won't be able to see anything like that. But it's certainly been an active stretch of weather, right? We had a wintry system last week. We'll be tracking another one by this weekend, and we'll be also looking at some warmer weather on the way. So that's a look at the weather across the country, locally as well. And of course, I'll be here at the noon newscast with the latest information. And of course, later this evening, Richard will have all of the details, and we'll be back here the same time tomorrow. So I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you later on.
See why every day more people are choosing News4JAX, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.